Hello, everyone. On behalf of the entire senior leadership team, welcome to Worldwide Connection. We're making history today. This is the first all-virtual gathering of our global McFamily in the 65-year history of McDonald's. From all corners of the globe and from all three legs of our stool, thousands of members of our McDonald's family have come together today. I appreciate you being with us. Of course, this isn't how we expected to see one another this year. We were supposed to meet in person at convention in April. Then when that changed, we had hoped to go virtual during that same week. But with everything that was going on, it just didn't feel right. Of course, we all know how disruptive the last few months have been for the whole system. And while this pandemic is far from over, we've begun to find our footing. Just yesterday, we released our business results through the second quarter. Kevin and I shared a perspective on what's worked well as we've navigated this year, on our brand and the trust customers have in us, on how we run our restaurants and our ability to smartly pivot our operations, on our people, their commitment to the business and their belief in the system, and on our strategic agility, that we're always looking around the corner for what's next. We continue to build on these strengths as we work to make brand McDonald's even stronger. And that's why now is the right time to have this conversation. Because the things we're here to discuss today, the values we are here to talk about, are what makes McDonald's so special. They're what gives us strength, what will sustain us, and what will power us to continued growth. Fred Turner liked to say, McDonald's is a family. We may not be blood relations, but we all have the same ketchup coursing through our veins. When families gather together, they tell stories that span generations. Stories about strength and adversity, resistance and resilience. Stories that define who we are, what we value, and how we put those values into action. There is no greater, more passionate, more purposeful family story than the McDonald's story. I sometimes wonder what section of a bookstore or what rows of a library you'd find that story. If you think about the story of Ray Kroc and his outrageous vision, of course, that would have to be in the inspiration section. But here's the thing about McDonald's. It's not just one story. It's many, many stories. Maybe you were a crew member who dreamed of becoming a franchisee, and then you did. Yours is a story of achievement. Maybe you were an owner-operator who dreamed of passing your franchise on to the next generation, and then you did. Yours is a story of family. Maybe you were a small business owner who dreamed of being a major supplier, and then you did. Yours is a story of partnership. Or maybe you come from a community that has seen difficult days. There were times you wanted to give up, but you didn't. There was something inside you that wouldn't let you. Yours is a story of resilience. These are different stories, but they are all part of the same story. They are all pictures from the same family album. It's a question I love to ask. What is your McDonald's story? My McDonald's story began as a kid. McDonald's is where I went for birthday parties, got special treats at the holidays. As I went to business school, my affection for the brand turned into respect and admiration for the scale of the company's ambition. As I came into the business, I had to listen and learn to understand the culture and all the things that makes McDonald's special. Well, now I understand. What really makes this company and this family so special are the people. No matter how you tell your McDonald's story or how many stories there are, they all have one thing in common at their core. They are built on the values we live and share as a brand. And we know it is our people who bring the McDonald's values to life. They've inspired us through the good times and guided us through the toughest times. Those values are passed along by our people who not only share them, but live them. And we rely on those values today more than we ever have before. We all know our world is hurting right now. COVID-19 is impacting us all. Businesses have closed. Jobs have been lost. Safety has taken on a new meaning. And everywhere, people have suffered loss. At McDonald's, we too have lost team members. We've lost friends and coworkers and members of our extended family. For those who have experienced personal loss, it hurts a lot. We've also seen too many other members of our family live with a different kind of pain. For our Black friends and neighbors, for our colleagues of color, the devastation of COVID is matched by the pain and frustration they feel over just how far we still have to go to achieve justice in this world. The issues of prejudice and racism have been brought home in a much more personal way. This is not a story happening to someone else or somewhere else. These are experiences that our colleagues of color have experienced throughout their lifetime. While this is a moment of anger and sorrow, it must also be a moment of determination that we will do our part to fight systemic racism and to fight discrimination in all forms. Guided by our values, we're committed to being better allies, better sponsors, and better leaders. To create a future where equality and fairness and opportunity aren't just goals, but are the lived experience of every single person in our communities. We also have to acknowledge that some people in our system feel like they haven't been given a fair opportunity. We've got to face up to that fact and do better. And that's the thing about this family. We've had tough times in the past. Each time we face those challenges, each time we rally together around what is right and let our values be our guide. Over the past 4 months, we've seen powerful examples of service on display, of people willing to put their lives on the line to serve their communities. You make it clear, it's not just a job, it's something bigger. It's a belief that people need us, that we must all pitch in and help one another. Maybe you're a franchisee who loaned your crew to another restaurant to help keep your people employed, but also to help the other owner-operator. Maybe you're a supplier who prioritized getting product to us because you wanted to be there for McDonald's when we needed you most. Maybe you're a crew member who's made customers feel safe by wearing gloves and a mask, or a delivery person doing all the right things in the right ways to ensure contactless delivery. Or a company employee working to provide restaurants with the support they need to stay open. Whatever your McDonald's story is right now, your courage is helping to write a magnificent new chapter of community and resilience and service that will be told for years to come. Today, you will see powerful examples of our values in action. You will hear powerful stories of a company that responds to adversity. And you will learn about the powerful ways we are leaning on our values to build a brand that's not just respected, but truly admired. This is our family story. It's been our story for 65 years, and it's not yet complete. For all of the incredible history that brought us here, I believe it's just the beginning. Ray Kroc said the 2 most important requirements for major success are, first, being in the right place at the right time, and second, doing something about it. Well, we have the great opportunity and great privilege to be in the right place, McDonald's. We're at the right time with these difficult days, reminding us of what makes this family special, while giving us the chance to feed and foster community when people are most in need. Together, we're going to write the next great chapters of this story. Ray and Fred built this brand as both the most independent and interdependent company on the planet. Their hope was that every member of the McDonald's family would live by our own sense of possibility, our own sense of accomplishment. Of all the gifts Ray and Fred gave us, perhaps the greatest was the set of values they personified. Ray used to talk constantly about our values. Never wrote them down, he just lived them. And he taught us how to live them too. He knew that in a system where every restaurant was unique and locally owned, people living our values would be the glue that united us and guided us through every decision we make. Those values help define our identity. When you say, I work at McDonald's, or I'm a franchisee at McDonald's, or I'm a supplier for McDonald's, it means that we're part of something special, something bigger than just ourselves. It's been said that no company stays young better than McDonald's. We've been at the center of popular culture for 65 years because McDonald's grows with and even stays ahead of our customers. A big part of the reason is from time to time, we've reinvigorated our values to stay responsive to the changing needs of our customers. Now's one of those times. As courageous decisions are being made across the system in response to COVID-19, it feels like now is the time to clarify what guides us, and what we stand for. Now is the time to make the values of this brand as clear and concise and relevant to today as possible. Over the past 6 months, we've asked for feedback from across the McDonald's family. What we found is that there's strong support for the values Ray and Fred articulated, and equally strong support for refreshing those timeless values in today's language. With your insights in hand, that's exactly what we did. There are 5 values. Our first value is that we put customers and people first. This is how we serve. There's a quote in the lobby of our headquarters from Fred Turner who said, "We're a people business and we never forget it." When you have great people who are committed, who want to provide the best possible customer service, you have a great business. You can't separate our people from our customers because our people are what customers experience as a brand. Providing an unequaled customer experience is the core of what we do, and that's why it's first. Our second value is that we open our doors to everyone. This is about inclusion. We aspire to create an inclusive environment that is welcoming to everybody. When you walk into our restaurant, it's not just that the door is open, it's that you're never gonna feel like you can't be there because of the environment that's around you. When we open our doors to all people, we're creating opportunity for everybody as well. Our third value is that we do the right thing. This is about integrity. When I did my first employee town hall as CEO last November, the one thing I said that resonated more than anything else is that at McDonald's, we do the right thing. We do the right thing for the right reasons. I love that phrase because it hits you in the gut. It doesn't require a long explanation or an additional set of rules. Everybody knows what it means to do the right thing. You just need to do the right thing. And you already know what the right thing is. Our fourth value is that we're good neighbors. This is about community. This is our business. Our purpose is to feed and foster community. And it's at the local level where our brand is strongest. This was Ray's great genius. It's why we're a franchise system. The essence of that connection with customers is the dedication of local owners who know the market best. This is what McDonald's has been for most people their entire lives. It's the brand you grew up with, where you know your order, recognize the crew, and feel at home. There isn't another brand in the world with our physical and emotional footprint. Every owner-operator comes from the local community, is rooted in the local community, and takes responsibility for building the local community, as do our suppliers. Wherever you find a McDonald's, you will find a good neighbor. You will find people you also see at work, at school, at the grocery store, at your house of worship, and at the ball game. Part of being a good neighbor is sharing a commitment to the planet, both locally and globally. And the first ever all-solar restaurant we just opened in Orlando is a step in the right direction. We know that when people love us locally, they're far more likely to like us globally. As we've seen this year, our communities need us now more than ever. The reasons are varied, but the idea is the same. People across the world are increasingly in need of connection and community. We provide that kind of connection better than anyone. We're proud of the role we play in our local communities and the people we serve. Our fifth value is that we get better together. This is about family. And like a family, we go up or down together. When we do something well, it reflects well on all of us. If we struggle together. Like a family, we're always striving to be better. We constantly work to make ourselves better, not just for our own family, but for the many families we serve, especially now. For those who can't stay home, from health professionals to truck drivers, to people working 3 shifts to make masks and respirators, we're staying open so they can keep going, through drive-through, carry-out, and delivery, day and night for them. Because that's what strong families do for each other. And that's what we pledge to do for you. So those are our 5 values. Now, it's one thing to describe them. It's quite another to see those values in action across the world. How do we live our values? Glad you asked.
I'm immensely proud of how our global McDonald's family has responded to COVID-19, proactively serving our communities with compassion, creativity, and common sense. I'm not surprised by this response. It is who we are as a system. Our franchisees and partners know their communities best, and they know how and when they can step in to help. That's what makes us strong. And when it's in your DNA to take the initiative to serve your community, good things happen. At any given time, we see this all over the world, whether it's supporting a local Ronald McDonald House Charities chapter or providing hot coffee to first responders after a natural disaster. But in the last few months, it's been truly inspiring to see this happening simultaneously across our system. In Australia, our restaurants use their drive-through windows to offer customers essential items like milk and eggs from the safety of their cars, easing the burden on supermarkets and providing a convenient option for our customers. In Germany, when our restaurants were closing their lobbies, we partnered with Aldi supermarkets so our people could keep their hours while filling in at grocery stores that desperately needed extra staff. Or in Croatia, where children were unable to enjoy their birthday celebrations in-store due to the lockdown, our people went above and beyond to deliver surprise cakes to those families. The pandemic also put us in the unfamiliar situation of having surplus food that would go to waste if we didn't act quickly. Once more, our McFamily sprang into action, partnering with our suppliers and organizations around the world to help us reach local communities quicker and in greater numbers. Since March, we have distributed tons upon tons of food to countless communities and food banks, benefiting thousands of people. I'm so proud of the combined effort of all three legs of the stool and the many ways our long-standing tradition to help support our communities has come to life this year. I think one of the best and most organic examples of our leadership during these difficult times has been the system-wide support for emergency workers. Amazing acts of generosity driven by franchisees and partners happened organically all over the world. Let's hear from just a few of the many McFamily members who put their kindness into action.
COVID-19 outbreak started late January in China, and it started in Wuhan city, which is the epicenter of the entire pandemic. When all restaurants were closed, we wanted to start a charity kitchen program. And then what we wanted to do is to have that kitchen serving free meals to the hospital workers.
We have been meeting daily to determine the actions that we need to take for the crisis.
Both of us at McDonald's Riyadh and McDonald's Jeddah took an immediate decision to support together frontliners at the beginning of the pandemic.
By providing free meals to our hero frontliners and those in the community most impacted by the pandemic.
McDonald's in Poland is not set up for deliveries. So we had the product, we know who needs it, but we were missing a link. And one of the managers came up with an idea, why don't we talk to Boy Scouts?
We knew that a simple act of kindness, of giving free hot food to the first responders, can give the entire community a strong sense of security and hope.
Our teams worked day and night with the authorities to develop all needed permits and paperwork, which allowed us to operate our stores and McDelivery channel seamlessly.
There were more than 300 volunteers turning up. And then at the same time, all the suppliers come together because they also wanted to contribute to this program.
During the height of the pandemic and during the most challenging of circumstances, we managed to distribute over 220,000 free meals and over 6,000 free cups of coffee in over 32 towns and cities across the country.
After 2 months, we contributed more than 200,000 free meals to all the hospital workers.
We were also able to take our recently constructed food truck and park it at the premises of 3 major hospitals in Riyadh, and were able to give away free food to all the patients and the staff for more than 1 month.
More than 50,000 meals were provided to medical workers, first responders, and volunteers.
What crew members started to do, they started to write thank you note, individual thank you note.
From our customers, we received tons of heartfelt messages and kind words of support on social media and directly to our staff in our restaurants.
We were all being inspired because we are one nation, we are one community.
Team members, they loved it so much. They felt good about coming to work. They felt purpose.
I feel proud of all the support we have been able to provide,
It was a humbling experience and it made us all feel that we truly did something meaningful.
These gestures made a huge difference to local communities worldwide. I would be remiss if I didn't celebrate one of the better-known examples, the U.S. Thank You Meals program. This idea started with our franchisees and resulted in us proudly serving over 12 million meals to frontline workers. Absolutely incredible. Thanks again to each and every one of you for all that you have done and for all that you continue to do to support our communities during this exceptionally difficult period.
With the generous support of the McFamily, Ronald McDonald House Charities has been helping families with ill or injured children across the globe since 1974. Over the decades, our services have grown in many ways to ensure a diverse population of families with ill or injured children are fully supported throughout their healthcare journey. The McDonald's system has been our partner every step of the way. Caring for communities is a value we all share and what makes us part of the McFamily. To take on COVID-19, suppliers and franchisees around the world rallied together to help RMHC in all new ways, grounded in their values. In France, for instance, McDonald's supplier Diversey leveraged its expertise to help develop much-needed cleaning protocols for the Ronald McDonald House and Ronald McDonald Family Room programs, while Martin Brower donated 20,000 facial masks to our facilities throughout France and many other parts of the world. And then there's the incredible collaborative work in the Philippines between RMHC Philippines and McDonald's Philippines, where our local chapter launched what we call Kindness Kitchens. I'll let our chapter president in the Philippines, Kenneth Yang, tell you that story.
In a time when our country was placed on lockdown, we were committed to stay open to make sure the public had access to safe, hot, and affordable meals. Through our charity of choice, RMHC, we were able to serve food, especially to hospital frontliners and communities in need. As long as our kitchens were open, we were able to serve kindness.
It's about simple human kindness. At RMHC, we lead with compassion. This spirit of compassionate care connects us all. Much like what you saw from Ian on restaurants proactively working to help their local communities, these acts don't start as a corporate mandate. When RMHC needs help serving the community, McDonald's, its suppliers, franchisees, licensees, and customers all keep helping. And together, we are all making the world a better place.
Our three-legged stool is one of our most unique competitive advantages. Our suppliers have always stood with McDonald's. It's the daily miracle that happens in our restaurants, thanks to our supply chain. Our customers don't have to think about it. They know they can walk into any McDonald's restaurant and get their favorite menu items. You really don't hear about supply chain until consumers can't get what they want. And in the early days of the pandemic, people saw empty shelves in grocery aisles. Some of their favorite brands and some of our competitors ran out of supply. Suddenly, supply chains were on the front page of the news. McDonald's, though, was able to continue serving the Big Macs and chicken nuggets our customers love. I'm proud to share that we didn't have a single break in our supply globally. And how did we do it? First, it's thanks to the hard work of supply chain teams around the world who plan and test for every possible situation long before any crisis hits. And second, it's our collaboration with suppliers to ensure our restaurants have everything they need to serve our customers. We've seen how our strong approach to planning and collaboration has made a difference for our customers these past few months. It really does take a family to reopen a market in just 5 days, and that's exactly what we did in New Zealand. Our team and suppliers were in constant communication to assess inventory and manage costs, and when restaurants reopened, to lines of cars with customers anxiously waiting to order their favorite items, our suppliers rapidly increased production to meet customer demand. And in North America, we saw our values in action when our beef supply came under pressure. we were able to work with our supplier partners to quickly execute contingency plans to make sure burgers stayed on our menu. To better understand how we maintained our beef supply, I think we need to hear it directly from one of our key suppliers. So I want to bring in Dave McLennan, the CEO of Cargill. Welcome, D-Mac.
Thanks, Francesca. It's great to be here.
McDonald's and Cargill have been working together with our business partnership really for decades. But some of the people that are watching probably don't know what you do. So can you talk a little bit about your business?
Sure. We're privately owned. We're 155 years old. We're owned by the Cargill and Macmillan families. We do business around the world in over 125 different countries in agriculture, food, nutrition, financial products. Our relationship with McDonald's goes back 40 years to 1980, and we provide you with ground beef, chicken, eggs, oils, and salt. So we have a long-lasting partnership between our two companies.
And our partnership has certainly been important, especially over the last 4 months. You probably remember in mid-May when I called you up and I said, you know, we haven't broken supply yet globally, and I don't want to start in North America with beef. And you said, I'm on it. So how do you think we were able to achieve that together?
We have great and open lines of communication between you and me, between our colleagues around the world that help us manage our supply chains. We need to make sure we're in great communication, but most importantly, that our relationship continues to be built on trust.
I know another thing that's really important for you is safety. So can you talk a little bit about that?
It's one of the values that we share, putting people first. And we had a bit of a head start. I mean, it's something we've been focusing on as a company for years, is to make our employees safe, that they have the right to know when they come to work, they're going to go home safely and in good health. And I think when you are a values-based organization, as I believe our two companies are, it makes all your decisions that much easier.
So, D-Mac, the market has been extremely volatile over the last 4 months. How has Cargill been able to respond to the volatility?
It requires a lot of resilience and a lot of agility, and that's one of the things that's really impressed me about how our two companies have responded to make sure our consumers have the food that they want and that they trust. One of it is prioritization. You know, where does the food need to go? And as your demand came down in the early days, we were able to shift our supply to the retailers, to the supermarkets that needed to have food on their shelves. As McDonald's demand came back, we were able to shift it back. So having that flexibility of supply chain and having diversity in terms of where it goes and how it gets there really matters. One of those people is Flor Laura. Flor is one of our operations managers at our Fresno plant, which is dedicated to McDonald's. Flor, can you tell us, what was it like in those days? What was it that you needed to do to make sure that our supply chains were moving?
Thanks for this opportunity to speak with the entire McDonald's system. As a Cargill team, we have been focused nonstop on our people's safety, as well as the integrity and quality of our products. The flexibility and collaboration of our operations and team supply chain was one of the key factors why we have been successful in ensuring supply for McDonald's restaurants. Despite the challenges faced across our industry, the contingency plans and supply assurances in place through our beef supply chain allow us to quickly ramp down and back up with the volatile shifts on demand. We stayed in contact with our McDonald's supply chain partners and continue to adjust as quickly as necessary to avoid a breakdown in supply.
Thank you, Flor, and thank you for everything that you do for McDonald's. So maintaining supply really does come down to collaboration, and I think the last 4 months have really validated that.
They really have. We have a special relationship. It's 40 years of history. It's 40 years of trust, of strong communication, of partnering together to serve our consumers, our customers, and it's really paid off. And I think these last 4 months have made our partnership stronger and better than it ever has been. I'm really excited about the future.
So am I. So D-Mac, it's great to see you. Thank you for being here and sharing your story with the entire McDonald's system.
Thanks for having me, Francesca.
Cargill is a great example of a supplier who stepped up in this moment. We have so many suppliers listening today who, along with our incredible team, helped ensure that we never broke supply. What a testament to the three-legged stool, and that's not changing.
Hello, McDonald's global system. Thank you for coming together and connecting from around the world. I'm speaking to you from our newest flagship restaurant in Orlando, the first quick service restaurant designed to be net zero energy in the United States. Just like our McFamily and the rest of the world, we are focused on safety here today. Around the globe, McDonald's has been taking a thoughtful, judicious, and market-specific approach to reopening our restaurants. We know that helping to ensure the safety of our customers and crew and earning the trust of our communities is of the utmost importance. This is an ongoing, ever-changing mission as we gain trust, not just by what we did yesterday, but rather by the actions we take today, tomorrow, and the day after. I'm exceedingly proud of the work that's already been done across our markets to help ensure the health and well-being of our customers and crew. They are walking through our doors every day with a strong sense that our standards are leading standards, while also fit for specific needs of the cities we operate in around the globe. They also know we're being flexible, adjusting our processes and procedures as we learn more and regulations change. We've seen creative approaches to thoughtfully reopen in markets like Canada. Our team created a virtual experience so customers could see and understand layout changes and safety procedures that had been implemented in preparation for the reopening of restaurants for carry-out service. This team realized the importance of proactively sharing information with customers ahead of their visit. I want to show you how some owner-operators are approaching both the customer and crew experience at their restaurants. We'll speak with Ricky Wade in the US and Odd Decker in the Netherlands about changes they've made. We'll also hear from Renata Siciliano, a McDonald's training manager in Brazil, showing that safety isn't proprietary. First, let's chat with Ricky. Ricky, one of the things we've really been proud of is how our owner-operators are creating a safe environment for their customers and crew throughout this pandemic. So what does safety mean to you?
I can tell you that if you're behaving in a safe and sanitary manner, you'll build trust and confidence with your customers and your staff. We identified a lead person, being Bonnie Weiss, who is our Executive VP of Strategy, and Bonnie became the air traffic controller for our organization as it relates to information, disseminating information, educating, and being the point person between us and McDonald's Corp, because everybody was in this together.
What are some of the detailed changes that you implemented in your restaurants that have been well received, both by your restaurant teams as well as our customers?
We put up signs all over the restaurant. When you come on my property or any of our parking lots, you have joined the GPS for sanitation and safety. When people see these things, being customers and our employees, they feel so much safer.
So Ricky, I think our restaurant teams really have been the stars. They've been the heroes through this, and they've had to serve under some pretty unique conditions. How have you galvanized them and created a sense of real camaraderie and teamwork?
So you're absolutely correct. They have been our heroes. They've been our superheroes. We have been communicating with our staff. I even asked them, tell me what can we do to make you feel safer in the restaurant? I think it's important that people feel good and we can celebrate and we can get excited about this. But the biggest thing for me, when we identified that drive-through is our true opportunity for us to sustain sales and try to grow the business, we created cheerleaders. We brought fun back into the business at a higher level. Our cheerleaders didn't have pom-poms out in our drive-thrus. They were given pom-poms was the food they were given to our customers. And I have to tell you, that was probably one of the biggest takeaways for me. When you bring fun and you raise the bar with fun, you can climb mountains and you can get a lot of stuff accomplished.
So Ricky, your energy, your passion, your enthusiasm, it's infectious. I know this about you. So what would you like to share with other operators around our global system?
All I can say to you is that the more we speak to each other, I'll guarantee there's an owner-operator in Germany, and there may be an owner-operator in Washington in the US. If we speak to one another, we can get so many best practices that will make our lives so much easier and make it easier for us to continue to build trust and confidence with our customers and our staff.
So Ricky, speaking of getting ideas from around our global system, I think that's what we're going to do next. So now let's head to the Netherlands and speak with Odd Decker.
Welcome to McDonald's Arnhem, the Netherlands, where even our bikes are socially distanced. As people are waiting, we're trying to make it fun. We have these QR codes that let you listen to music, play games, or add items to your wish list in the McDonald's app. We know you're hungry. That's why we have you wait on this bun. And this bun. And this bun. Here we ask our guests to sanitize their hands before entering the restaurant. This is not just for their safety, but also for our employees. When you first come in, you will be greeted by Joyce. She will take you through the safety questions. After that, Joyce will walk you through the dine-in or take-out experience. We created a flow for people to safely walk one way in and one way out. When dining in, you tap in this number and you find a safe seat. When you order, make sure you stay in the fries. After every order, we sanitize the screen. When you're getting takeout, Avina places the order on the counter. She takes a step back and the guest grabs the order. We have seen that in this crisis we had to make a lot of adjustments and that we had to teach our employees and guests to visit our restaurants in a different way. But the most important thing is that the people who are working in the restaurant really carry out the things that you thought of. And they've done a phenomenal job, and I think it's great, and I'm very proud of them.
So we've seen how some restaurants are adapting. But like I said earlier, our focus on safety goes beyond our own restaurants. Check out this great program from Renata Siciliano, a training manager in Brazil who is helping the entire industry in her country.
Logo no início da pandemia aqui no Brasil, vimos diversos estabelecimentos fechando e sem qualquer expectativa de reabertura, onde desconheciam processos básicos de higiene e segurança. E por isso pensamos, por que não transferir um conhecimento tão rico que é a nossa segurança do alimento para as empresas do ramo alimentício? Foi a partir daí que, em conjunto com a área de sustentabilidade, surgiu a ideia de termos um curso designado à segurança do alimento em 2 módulos. Tivemos diversos feedbacks que foram extremamente gratificantes e percebemos o quanto de corrente do bem estávamos fazendo para aquelas pessoas e para o Brasil. Muito obrigada e estejam sempre MEC protegidos.
I love the initiative from Renata. It really exemplifies the idea that at McDonald's, we always aim to do the right thing. While all of this has been in the context of our current global pandemic, we know that consumer expectations have been forever altered, and McDonald's will lead in setting the standard on safety and wellness moving forward. Market by market, we are building on our commitment to cleanliness and service and building a better McDonald's together. We're working with experts like the Mayo Clinic, who will provide consulting services regarding best practices in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. It's really an honor to be part of a company that strives to do the right thing, one that is paving a way forward, innovating in the face of challenges, and putting customers and people's safety first. Thank you for everything you are doing every day to help ensure the health and well-being of yourselves, your teams, and your customers.
As you've seen and heard throughout this broadcast, the McFamily is facing challenges head-on in 2020. Today, I am honored to share the important work our Global and Cross-Functional Strategic Advisory Council has been doing to help bring overdue societal change in the area of diversity and inclusion. I joined this family in April, just before 2 viruses, COVID-19 and systemic racism, would change the world and the expectations we have of one another. The public outcry and dedication to dismantling systemic racism has renewed our attention and responsibility to make changes both inside and outside of the arches, to drive equitable opportunity for all who encounter our brand. Despite these extraordinary times, these last 3 months have been some of the most inspiring of my career. What's amazed me most has been our people. Your deep passion for the McFamily, your focus on caring for one another, and your willingness to do the right thing, even when the right thing is difficult to do. This is the spirit that's going to help us build on the work that's already been done, like the strategy launched last year to remove barriers for women in our workplace. But now is our time to lean in and accelerate progress for all. As we say, McDonald's doors are open to everyone. Now we have to make sure that when a person comes inside, they feel welcomed and have an equitable chance to thrive. Diversity and inclusion is about respecting and appreciating what makes us all different in terms of race, gender, ethnicity, age, religion, ability, sexual orientation, education, and country of origin. It's about creating a safe and nurturing environment where we can all be our authentic selves and excel. But we must go farther. We have a responsibility to make our world a more equitable one. Society will accept nothing less, and neither will we. To measure up to that ideal, we've got some work to do. We all agree, to make the progress we're capable of, we have to approach this boldly and authentically, and with a sense of urgency. I truly believe in this family, and in the plan being put together by so many passionate team members around the world. But before I outline the plan, I think it's important to share this space and hear from some of our team members.
We are a very diverse company. We're blessed to be living in Northern California, which is a very diverse area, and we believe that we do a really good job at hiring and have an open mind about who we hire. And what we find is that our workforce looks a lot like the community. We started as a promotional product business, and now we do promotional products and uniforms. And a lot of that has to do with McDonald's commitment to way to be as a diverse company. I think when you're a person of color and you own a business, there are a lot of people who now understand that they can do it also. The world is becoming more and more of a melting pot, and having diverse taste, cultures, palates. We know that this is important for any business, especially if McDonald's wants to continue to cement themselves as the best place to eat in the world, and also the right thing to do.
At McDonald's, our values are integrated into our DNA. Our restaurants are proof of this. The doors are open for new crew without any discrimination of any nationality, gender, colors, race, religion, ability. Yet, we still have work to do when we consider our franchisees or our local HQ. Some markets are starting to introduce actions to improve diversity at the corporate and franchisee level. They are establishing new roles with our recruiters, delivering new training programs for recruitment, and onboarding processes on discrimination, on working together for restaurant managers, staff, and franchisees, because all human beings are born free and equal.
I am so happy to be here at the McDonald's on 65th and Stony Island, which is the first Black McDonald's restaurant in Chicago, owned by Mr. Herman Petty. This is such a beautiful sight to celebrate Mr. Herman Petty. He was a trailblazer, and I'm happy that I was able to be a part of bringing this restaurant to the community and to McDonald's. When I became an operator at this particular location, it was in bad shape, and there were plans to remodel. And at that time I said, well, we need to make it a historical site. I called McDonald's and was able to get the plan changed, and they agreed to make this site a historical site. I wanted to bring the community together and show them and tell them about this wonderful Black man, Mr. Herman Petty. There are very few, or if any, Black historical sites in the city of Chicago, especially on the south side of Chicago. So this was my opportunity to give back to the community. The current progress that I want to see in the current state is words are just words. Actions are just actions. We have to love each other. We have to understand that we're all in this village together. Let's not just put the words out there in the streets. Let's not just make change because it's a quick fix. Let's do it, let's make it permanent, and so that we all could be one loving, diverse McDonald's family. We can make it. We can make that happen.
Thank you to everyone who has spoken so candidly. Your words are incredibly powerful, and our response must be equally meaningful. Our Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Council has started the enormous task of defining what that means. I'm proud to now share with you where we are in that process. For us, that means that McDonald's will use our influence and our scale to accelerate meaningful and overdue societal change for our employees, our franchisees, suppliers, customers, and communities. Moving forward, and in accordance with our values, we will hold ourselves accountable to represent the diverse communities in which we operate, to accelerate cultures of inclusion and belonging, and to dismantle barriers to economic opportunity. One of the ways we'll do this is with the first ever mutual commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. We will track our progress annually and invite all partners to do the same. Together, the cumulative impact we can have is at a scale unlike any other company. A few actions we're committed to take include matching employee representation to availability, with a continued focus on reducing hiring bias and barriers to consideration. We'll reduce barriers for diverse suppliers to enter the McDonald's system and increase our spend in this space. We'll audit our advertising and restaurant experiences to ensure that they reflect the needs and demographics of our customers. Thanks to the scale of the McDonald's system, the impact we can have is unlike any other company. Change doesn't happen just because we want it to. It takes real work by all of us. We want to be the ones to write the new chapter, not only for this company, but for communities around the world. I can't think of a better way to close out this update and show you my hope for every member of this system than to play you a short clip from one of our UK crew members, Tawana.
I first moved to the UK from Jamaica in 2014. Working here at the McDonald's in Hengrove has helped me a lot with my confidence, and making the people here my family is absolutely amazing. And I feel like it's not about the work that you do, it's about the people you work with. My Mac family has been supportive since day one. I started as a crew member, then a crew trainer, then a manager. I've won Employee of the Year within the UK 2019, which is a big achievement for me. With our Mac family, we open our doors to every person.
You know, I had the privilege of meeting Tawana shortly after I joined McDonald's. And when I heard her story, I thought, what if everyone who's part of this McFamily felt the way Tawana feels? Just think about that. That's the kind of McDonald's we can build together.
Thank you for joining us today for the very first all-virtual gathering of our global McFamily. Just to give you a sense, today we had thousands of people joining us from nearly 70 different countries, from China to Costa Rica, Australia to Argentina, the UK to the UAE. What other family can do that? Today's not the end of our virtual conversation. It's actually just the beginning. In November, we'll have another virtual gathering in which we talk in more detail about our business and our strategy going forward. All of you are going to be working with your country leadership to think about and develop your plans. Our ideas, our insights, our innovation, and our inspiration come from all of you. I know you're going to roll up your sleeves and get to work with our local leadership, which will then aggregate into a global path forward that unites us as one brand. We look forward to seeing the sum total of your work in November. I really believe that we have a historic opportunity right now. Now is the time to write the next great chapter of the McDonald's family story. We are universally respected as a company. I believe we can become universally admired as a brand too. One thing I'd ask you to reflect upon between now and November is what can and should McDonald's do to go from being a respected company to a universally admired company? Can we truly be an admired company if we're not known as a great employer? Can we truly be an admired company if we don't demonstrate our commitment to the planet? Can we truly be an admired company unless everyone in our system feels included with an equal opportunity to contribute and realize their dreams? We need to live our values each and every day. That's how we become not just universally respected, but universally admired. If Ray Kroc could have been here, I think he'd say that we've done incredible things together, but that we owe it to each other to support one another through this difficult year and do the hard work necessary to build back even stronger than before He inspired us then, he inspires us now. And I'm inspired by our commitment to keep evolving, to keep growing, to keep getting better. That spirit is more than what we do, it's who we are. It's the values we hold dear. I've never been more excited or proud to be part of this family than I am right now. This is how we move forward together. From the day we first opened our doors to the days we reopened them in the face of adversity, we've shown up strong in everything we do.
Living our values,
lifting each other up,
相互支撑，让每个社区变得更好。
We've created exceptional ways to serve.
And all of us standing proud.
As we look forward as a family to the months ahead,
the challenges we'll solve for,
and the people we serve.
The road ahead still looks golden.
We'll keep learning
and growing,
adapting,
evolving,
and leading.
En toute sécurité, comme nous savons le faire.
We'll keep our doors open.
Sharing a smile where we can.
Staying true to the values
that have shaped our past
and guide our future. We'll continue, as always, to change for the better.